All right, Hail Stalkers. So high risk, high impact event still underway. We've already had well over 225 reports of hail, over 35 tornadoes so far, and the wind is really starting to pick up now. So we've got two areas of concern right now. So we've got the Chicago Metro, where we have tornado warnings now moving into the suburbs. We also have a destructive tag has been put on the severe thunderstorm warnings that are moving into Chicago. And then the other area of concern we're going to jump to here in just a second is the south side of Memphis, so the Tunica area, moving into just south of South Haven. Those areas, there's been a destructive tornado that's been on the ground for maybe hopscotched a few times, but it's been on the ground for well over 50 miles, mainly in rural parts of Arkansas and Mississippi. But that tornado now moving into the south side of Memphis, and that's the second tornado of the day for Memphis as well. So let's go ahead. We're going to start things off here in Chicago because we've seen some. Oh, sound went dead?
No.
Somebody just said the sound went dead.
It's working.
All right, so, well, it says it's working here. So anyway, so we've got, so what we're going to do is we're going to start up here at the top part of the line. We have tornado warnings in Wisconsin all the way down into Illinois, and then we're just going to work our way down the line. And what we're going to see is there's these little couplets. So let's just switch this over to wind, John, because that's what we really want to pay attention to. So this line, capable of winds up to 90 miles per hour, but that is not for the entire part of the line. So what you're going to see is as you get up here into Beloit, Roscoe, down into Belvedere, already moved through the Rockford area. So as we go through here, 60 mile per hour winds possible anywhere on this line, okay? But we've got these little couplets. Look, see right here, there's one, right here's one. A really strong one right here, there's one right here, there's one right here, there's one right here. You can see even sometimes these markers pick it up. And so all these little hot spots, look at these two right here, 90 mile per hour winds, and also what we call a QLCS tornado threat for sure. So what we'll do is and John's already on top of this here, so what we'll watch for is debris. Now these are going to be brief, so we may not pick these up on radar, but we will see enhanced areas of damage where these little inlets, basically these little touch points right here are, where you see these little bright spots. These two are fairly strong. Is this live right now, John? So we're at 746. So this is our live update right here. These are the two areas that we're really concerned with. Also right up here near Roscoe, a really intense one. What do we got up here just north of Beloit? I think they've probably got another one up here. Not as bad right here, but you can see. So right in here, 60 to 70 mile per hour winds right here in Roscoe. And then as we come down here to the south, these little couplets, so potential for 1, 2 tornadoes right there. Let's go ahead and keep going down the line, because here, so we have Algonquin right here. If you're in Algonquin, you're going to be watching this area move through. Woodstock, Bloomington right here. Look, so see, here's another little couplet right here, another one right here, another one right here, another one right here, another one right here. Very intense winds right in here. This is the inflow jet that's actually coming into the line itself, causing the shear to come up over the top. That's what's causing the tornado threat, the really, really high wind threat. So again, everything coming in from the backside here is what we call the rear inflow jet of this squall line. But look at these little couplets. These will cause the wind to spin around, enhance, and make it much stronger than other areas of the line. So we're gonna have to watch for little miniature tornadoes. They won't last very long, but they could be fairly strong. So we're gonna have to watch this extremely closely. But even if we don't get a tornado, we could still have winds close to 90. I wouldn't even be shocked if we see a few gusts up close to 100 miles per hour with this line as it moves into the Chicago area. Okay, so the entire line right now for most of Chicago, most of the west side of Chicago, is warned with a tornado warning. And then we have these warnings out in front that have the destructive tag on it because they said the winds are capable of 90 mile per hour, okay? So really, really concerned with this. Is this a new tornado warning up here? Do they double it up?
Let me look here.
It looked thicker. Does that have a thicker line? Does that mean something different on here?
Yeah. Radar confirmed tornado northwest of Belvedere.
Okay, so let's go take a look at that real fast. Let's get rid of the warning box off of there. So let's go up here to Belvedere, take a look at that. It's just to the east of Rockford. That's that little couplet that we were talking about. We had those couple of couplets, yeah, right here. So they're calling this radar confirmed now, right in here. This is what we're watching right here. And like we said, we just talked about this. This is probably it right in here. You're seeing like potential little bits of debris here. Again, these will happen fast. They don't take very long to happen. They might stay on the ground for 2 or 3 minutes and then they're gone. And so, yep, this is probably it right there.
Yeah, it's right there.
Yep. So there's your tornado right there. What basically formed right here on I-20, just north of I-90, lifted to the north. Let's look at the actual wind shear on that couplet. And there's several of them on this line. I mean, here's one right there, but look how strong this one is right here. Just powerful. I think this is actually the one. I mean, both of these could potentially be on the ground right now. So this is a really impactful storm right now, just east of Rockford, moving off to the east-northeast at around 50 to 60 miles per hour. This line is moving, and it's going to head into, I don't know how to say that one, Richmond, McHenry. Algonquin's going to go to the north of you, but again, destructive winds headed towards Algonquin, Waukegan, Kenosha, potentially even as far north as Milwaukee with this thing, as this thing continues to lift off to the east-northeast.
I don't even have the radar loaded up for them.
What's that?
I don't have the radar for Milwaukee open
right,
yet.
Didn't think it was going to get that far north. Anyway, so this whole area, again, high concern, high impact. So now that we've covered this one real quickly, let's jump to the south. Let's go look at Memphis real quick, because again, we've had an impactful tornado in Memphis as well. We're going to come back to Chicago. So Chicago, we're not leaving you. We're coming back. But we've got this tornado here that's now crossing I-55 here, or at least this potential tornado. We'll see if it's still on the ground here. So this is the storm. This storm has been isolated all by itself for a long time now. Now moving into Hernando. Again, south of South Haven. Most of the population is actually up here to the north. Here's your tornado right back here to the west of Hernando. So this tornado has been on the ground. It's had a long and violent track. Just moved through Trinity going north of Cub Lake, and previously just went across 61 near Tunica. Spotters did report that tornado crossing Tunica. Look at this. This is the path that it took. Much stronger. It was an intense tornado here as it crossed the Mississippi River. Went to just north of North Tunica here. And I think it missed most of the hotel and the casino zone to the south, but continued off to the east, to the northeast. And right now, tornado is right back in here and continues with this trajectory, right? So we can see the line right here. So it's just going to basically continue up into here, go north of Byhalia, up towards Collierville. Again, parts of South Haven, depending on how you structure all that. There you can see it right there. There's the wind. Everything spiraling around itself. Again, this storm has had a tornado on the ground for quite a while now, and continues to produce it. There it is, the damage indicator right there with that. And again, headed up, and it's going to cross 69 and I-55 really right there at that intersection. This is a big intersection. For those of you that aren't familiar with, or that are familiar with the Memphis area, this is a big crossover area where a lot of traffic funnels through to get out of Memphis and head off towards Birmingham in the Tupelo area. So we'll come back to this storm. Again, we've got a few minutes before it moves up into here in the Olive Branch area where we'll have a lot more population. So let's go back to the north, back to Chicago. Again, so tornado on the ground, headed towards Olive Branch, Mississippi. And again, we've got this major impactful event now heading into Chicago. Here's Aurora. For those of you that aren't familiar, Aurora, a significant part of the Chicago metro area. Let's go ahead and zoom into them. It's going to hit them first. Let's see what we've got there. Look at the winds. Look, I mean, this rear inflow jet just punching in, making this line bow out. And what's really concerns me is it has all these little kinks in it, right? And so all these little kinks, you know, these are 70 to 80 mile per hour winds moving in just by themselves. And then these little kinks will cause enhance and shear and will cause the storm to spin even faster. And you can almost, I mean, you just count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I mean, so they're just all up and down this line here. And so, you know, if you're in this area, you might go through this area here where it's not as damaging as what it is just a mile or two to the south. So, but where are these going to be? And they spin up. They happen really, really fast. And John will inspect it here, so he'll put on our correlation coefficient, which is our damage indicator, and it'll tell us, is there any damage in this? And we don't see any right now, We don't see any debris coming up in
They just
it.
issued a big warning for all of Chicago.
There we go. So now the high impact severe thunderstorm warning for all of Chicago. Is it going to be a 90-mile-per-hour warning?
Yep.
Yep. So 90-mile-per-hour, 2-inch hail. I don't know why they did that, but really, did you see anything for 2-inch hail?
I don't think so.
All right.
But
So they're excited, right? So the 90, I'm going with. The 2-inch hail, I'm not feeling. So I don't think Chicago is going to get 2-inch hail from this. We've got a pretty significant line. Could have a few not golf ball. It could have a few quarter reports, but I don't think we'll see golf ball. Was that a storm report of a collapsed building there? Just
yeah, hey, I'm right back up. This
that was
in
probably
Belvedere.
very near Belvedere, which would be where that tornado was. Confirmed tornado as well. Yeah, it says it's the city of Belvedere. So yeah, Ian reports roof collapse on a building at 104 North State Street, possible tornado damage. Again, we're going to see those little spin-up tornadoes. The tornadoes, the most likely area is going to be on the top end of this line. So everything is anchoring into this comma, what we call a comma head up here on the north spot of the line. Everything is anchoring into that. So we're going to see tornadoes from that spot just to the south, and then we'll see the higher winds eject off of that even further south down in this part of the city. And again, everything moving from west to east. Yeah, as you can see, John showing inflow coming into the comma head, rear inflow jet punching into the line here. This causes real widespread wind damage here. This causes isolated tornadoes that cause a lot of wind damage as well, all up and down this line. Let's go ahead and bounce in here to where the more intense part of this line has been. Basically, maybe we can start at the southern edge of the, well, I guess we got tornado warning all the way, but that needs to either extend or be gone. We'll start here at Aurora and work our way north. So we're going to go ahead and dive in here to Aurora, zoom
Do you
in.
want me to click on check any of these LSRs?
Yeah, let's look at these. So we've
Just
got,
to see
these are all high wind reports that have come in periodically with this thing this major surge of rear inflow jet that's coming in here. Yeah, so you got power poles down on Plank Road, several trees down. And this all matches up with 60 to 70, 80, measured 83-mile-per-hour winds. So, these things are blowing. What do we got down here in Ottawa, or east of Ottawa?
I clicked on that one already.
Oh, 74. So, we're measuring 74, 83 winds, power lines down, trees down, pretty consistently with this storm. A nice path of it coming through. And you can see up here, radar is picking up all the high winds up in this part of the storm. The brighter the blue, the stronger the winds. But again, we're also concerned about these little couplets, and they seem to be getting a little bit stronger. So these are areas where you get inflow coming into the line, and then that rear inflow jet kicks it out, and all of a sudden, boom, you get this spin up. All right, so John's going to give us some times here of the line. Again, moving off to the east at nearly 65 miles per hour. So Aurora, 4 minutes, it's basically there. 8:06 in Plainfield, Naperville at 8:08, Downers Grove at 8:15, and CDT Proviso at 8:22, okay? So again, this is this high impact event coming in right now. Isolated tornadoes are possible. You could have little spin up tornadoes in each of these little couplets that are along this line, okay? So we're gonna have to watch for these to produce very small, quick tornadoes. But if a quick tornado hits your property, they're damaging, okay? So you want to take shelter because we don't know where these are actually going to occur at. But they happen very fast, and they don't last very long, and they just spin up, drop a tornado, do damage, they lift, and then another one forms in a different location. You can see the wind enhanced right in here just now. Right in here, we have these little couplets. Let's go ahead and continue to work our way north here. So Aurora, Oswego, really getting ready to batten down the hatches here. Blackberry, you're already in it. You're in it to win it. Campton, you're just now into the storm. Here's 64. South Elgin is right here. South Elgin, 10 minutes. Elgin, 10 minutes, you're there. Wayne, 10 minutes, it's there. Hampshire, it's almost there. Algonquin, I know a lot of people in Algonquin and Crystal Lake. 15 to 20 minutes, very powerful, intense storms coming in. Look at this little hot spot that's formed right down in here. This would be an area that we'd want to watch. We don't have a tornado warning out for that, but again, this is an area that we've got to keep an eye on. These little spin up, these little areas can cause some pretty significant damage. We still have a pretty strong rotation couplet right up here to the north of Garden Prairie. Let's go ahead and zoom in a little closer on this one. Getting ready to head into Woodstock, Marengo. There's the cub. Oh, almost got up there to the north, a little further north.
Where is
there we go, right there. So this area was, this is actually the area that produced the tornado near Belvedere just about 5 or 10 minutes ago. Again, there is still some rotation here. It's not as strong as it was, but there is still some rotation here, and we really, really have to watch. This little spot right in here is where that stronger wind. So you get north of 173 here, and the winds maybe not quite as strong as they would be to the south of 173. And this is where you would see an extended area of damage. Now this will move to the north, really right up 173, eventually getting to Hebron, and then we'll cross the state line into Wisconsin as this line of storms continues to move. This one's still kind of standing out to me a little bit right down here. We'll see if it ends up doing anything, but it definitely has, it's on the northern side of the hook. So right now over the Burlington area, just a little enhanced. There's even a little, I don't know if that's doing anything or not, but it's definitely worth watching for sure, because we've got a little enhanced inflow here at Burlington, okay? And so you've got the air coming out around the south. Look at that. Think we got a tornado there?
It's possible.
Sure looks like it. So this could be a tornado. I mean, it's definitely not confirmed. I would not confirm this as a tornado, but it is in the right spot. So Plank Road, Burlington Road, right here just to the south of Burlington. This would be the area that we're talking about right in here, okay? So this is Ramoki Road, and so there's Burlington. So it's right on Burlington Road now. It's moving fast off to the east-northeast. If you're in Algonquin right up here, headed in your direction right now. And so definitely getting ready to cross, be coming up on 20. Most likely will not be the same thing that it is right now by the time it gets here, because it's an ever-changing situation. But again, just a little bit of a notch here. Everything's spinning around. Here's another one down here by Plato. We're going to have to watch this one as well. This could turn into something very soon as well. So these little areas where everything comes together, right? These are the areas that we're watching on radar right now. And as each time that one of these happens, at minimum, it enhances the wind speed that this line has. At minimum, it makes the mesocyclone just a little bit stronger, which increases the wind speed. When you have wind speeds already at 60 to 70 miles per hour, we're talking about wind speeds reaching 80 or 90 miles per hour instead. So these are impactful whether they make tornadoes or not. And that's why we have to be very careful about these, and we still want to point these out because of what they do to the wind speeds, even if they're not producing tornadoes. This one looks a little bit better now than the one up here by Burlington does. And you can see, obviously, you have your CC there. You have a little bit there too. These things are sticking out. As and again, maybe it's not a tornado. Maybe it's just straight line winds kicking up debris because they're so strong. So definitely something that we're going to have to continue to watch here. These are all, again, this line is racing off to the east. The line itself moving to the east, the individual cells moving to the east-northeast. Again, this is the area that we've been honed in on here for the last 2 or 3 minutes, really watching this area as an area that has enhancements. Like even, what's that right there? Right by the 31 sign. Was that what's the, okay.
Yeah, it might just be the inflow.
Yeah, just the inflow coming in. So again, and these are just all up and down. So here's Elgin, South Elgin and Elgin. Everything is moving in to there. Plato, everything is already, you've already been impacted in Plato. Hanover, right over here, Wayne, St. Charles, everything just coming right to the east, okay? So whatever you see here is gonna move here, and it's gonna take about 5 minutes for it to get there, okay? So it's 8:03. So around 8:08, everything will be crossing county lines here, heading into Bloomingdale around 8:15 to 8:20. Milton around 8:15. Schaumburg, you're probably about 8:20. Storms will be in Schaumburg. Okay, Wheeling, probably about 8:30. 8:20 to 8:30, we're going to be in Wheeling, okay? This line just accelerating and moving very quickly off to the east. There you go. Schaumburg even faster. 8:15 in Schaumburg. Chicago, downtown Chicago. That's what we're talking about. That's 8:30. So by 8:45, the system is off the coast in Lake Michigan. That's how fast this is going to happen. So again, the more severe part of this line is the northern part. So we're talking about areas really from Aurora, maybe a little bit further south in Aurora, but basically Aurora to the north is the area that's our biggest concern for potentially significant severe winds. So this is the area that we're watching the most. Milwaukee, absolutely. And let's jump up because I know we've got a bunch of tornado warnings right now in Illinois as well. So Lake Geneva or Wisconsin, I mean. Huh?
This is a confirmed warning.
Is it? Okay, so we've got a confirmed tornado warning now up here in Wisconsin. So let's go ahead and here's the report right back here.
It says damaging tornado located near Sharon, Wisconsin, moving northeast.
Okay.
As of 7:59, it was moving northeast at 45 miles an hour.
All right, so near Sharon, Wisconsin, I bet we'll be able to find that fairly quickly. Huh?
I just saw that also.
Yeah. So Sharon, I assume, is going to be up in here. Switch to CC mode. We should be able to find it real fast.
Oh, it's a funnel cloud report.
Am I in front of it?
Yeah. We're also far away from Chicago's radar a bit here.
Yeah.
I don't have the radar for... Actually, no, I can't do it while we're live.
Well, so anyway, so right up in here, this whole area, there's been a lot of spin. The comma head is basically right here. So just south of Janesville it is basically where it's at, right in here. So, all right, let's go ahead. So we've got Katie watching from South Haven, Mississippi. Let's go ahead and jump down there now real quick. Yeah. We've just covered Chicago. We've talked about everything that's going on down there. Katie says the sirens are going off in South Haven. They absolutely should be. Let's go ahead and see what our CCs look like. It does look like it has been more of an easterly option to it. It hasn't, maybe it's turned a little bit more to the right, which sometimes means that our storm's intensifying. I don't see a tornado right now though with it. Put the radar back on too. Okay.
We just got an update too.
Huh?
We got an update. Wow.
Yeah, so it's already moved past Olive Branch. So Olive Branch, now that looks pretty good right there. So tornado would be just south of 55. If we switch back to CCs, maybe we can see something there.
There's a lot of, it's really low in general.
Switch back to radar real fast with it circled there.
Well, that's
So basically the winds are saying there's a tornado right in here potentially, but I don't see any precip falling. Without the precip, it doesn't give us the ability to see the debris or anything like that. So not for sure if there's a tornado on the ground. There definitely could be a tornado on the ground. The wind shear says that it's possible. What's that?
New warning just issued. It's not confirmed anymore. It's only radar indicated.
Okay. Makes sense.
It's also warned for golf ball size hail. I don't know if it's actually doing that or not.
Mm-hmm. It does have a little pink up there, but
but the good news is that it is no longer a confirmed tornado warning.
Yeah. So the tornado has, so Olive Branch is too far to the north. So Olive Branch is right up here. The tornado is not up here. The tornado is going to be just south. If it were to produce a tornado, it would be just south of that. I think that's where there was some hail falling, right?
Yeah, I was trying to write the word hail, but it didn't work.
Yeah, so this would be hail up in here in this part of the storm. Put on the wind shear. Let's just look at the velocities real fast.
I mean, it's mean right there.
Yeah.
It's just...
Yeah, absolutely. Right in here. So Olive Branch, hail, some high winds, potentially some 70 to 80 mile per hour winds. But the tornado threat right now is along and just south of 55. It's moving to the northeast though, so it should kind of maybe even almost parallel the bend here on 269 and then continue off to the east. So should stay to the south of Olive Branch, should say the south and the east of Olive Branch. Collierville, it's probably going to stay south of there as well. But again, right now, storm is not nearly as intense as it was just a little bit ago. Tornado warning has gone from a level 2 tornado warning to a level 1 tornado warning, which means radar says there could be a tornado, but we don't have spotters saying that there's a tornado. So there very well may or may not be a tornado on the ground with this right now. So still need to heed your tornado precautions if you're in the path of this. Okay, and really, I'd say anybody in the polygon, but again, right now the rotation is here near I-55 right now, and it's going to come really close to where the 22 and 55 junction meet up there, where you get the 269 loop going around to the north side or the east side to head to the north side of the Memphis area. And again, that's kind of what we're seeing with this particular storm. Let's go ahead and zoom out. Let's see what we have just nationally. Yeah, it's probably sitting right on the highway right now.
Yeah.
So we've got, again, several tornado watches. Tornado watch includes Nashville now. We still have a tornado watch down here to the south in Louisiana. A couple of severe thunderstorm warnings there. You can see we've actually got a tornado warning over here near Paducah right now. Wow, look at that supercell all by itself. Tornado warning just to the east of St. Louis right now. Again, this one's actually crossing, is this 57? Yep. So I don't know if there's anything in this part of the country.
We're kind of far away. That is just
a definite Salem. So if you're in the Salem area, definitely watching out for some large hail and potential tornado. We're definitely really far away from the radar here, so we're gonna have to watch this closely. But even this line, though, wind and golf ball size hail through the east side of St. Louis as the line moved through. And again, severe thunderstorm warnings. A couple of tornado warnings here near Champaign with some supercells that really produced a bunch of tornadoes back to the east near Springfield, Illinois earlier tonight. And then we have, again, the line. This has been the main event here this evening where we're watching just impactful winds moving through. Let's go and switch to the wind product again and see what this looks like. And maybe we'll get lucky. And as we come up closer to the lake, we'll start to feel some influences from the cold water. And that may help to stabilize the atmosphere some. But we still have these little couplets, right? So while the winds have definitely, I feel like the winds have probably come down some with this line. I don't think they're quite as strong as they were. These little couplets will have a tendency to increase the wind speeds even if the winds have come down. So we're gonna have to watch this very closely. But as it stands right now, again, these little couplets for sure are the areas that we're watching. So again, right here near 38, you've got a couple of them right here in between 38 and 64. You've got one right up here just to the east of Wayne. And let's see here. I think if we just keep going up the line, we'll probably see more of them. And again, it's just a little pocket. So this is, a couple of blocks, right, where the wind speeds could increase from 40, 50, or 60 to 60, 70, or 80, depending on the intensity of the couplet. So that's kind of that's the concern that we have, is that these little couplets will increase the wind speeds and cause some issues with these severe thunderstorms as they move through. So again, you have a couple more up here by Woodstock. These have actually produced tornadoes previously back here by Belvedere near Rockford. We had several couplets. And then we have the Comma Head itself up here in southern Wisconsin near Janesville that's also producing tornadoes and has confirmed tornadoes with it as well. So severe thunderstorm wind gust here. The Aurora Airport measured 64 mile/hour winds. Checks out. That's kind of what we've been expecting. Again, you're getting those little couplets, those little isolated pockets. We'll see some stronger wind speeds. But for the most part, I'm expecting along this line as the storms move through now. Again, I think we've checked it back just a bit. So we're not talking about winds 80 to 90 miles an hour everywhere. We're talking about winds 50 to 60, maybe 65, and then little pockets of winds of 70, okay, maybe 75. That's what we're going to look for, these little couplets. I think a new report just came in back here to the west of Aurora. And sometimes you can get some real high wind in this light to moderate rain back here with that inflow jet
Another
that's coming in.
64.
So same thing, 64 miles per hour again. So consistently seeing winds in that low 60, which again, that can do damage. You definitely don't want to take that lightly, as there can definitely be some strong wind damage because of 64 mile per hour winds. So again, probably starting, just you can kind of tell by the way that the line has gotten a little bit more jagged. The cells themselves are kind of starting to break up. It's starting to feel some influence here from Lake Michigan, I think. There's a bunch of cold air, and as this line gets closer, it's going to start to inhale air from in front of it. And as it inhales that air, it's going to switch from warm air to colder air. I think John's honing me in right here. I see this one right here, just south of Bloomingdale, a little bit stronger area right in here. If we zoom in a little closer, we might be able to get a little bit more specific with some of the locations in there. Okay, so you've got St. Charles just to the east. So this is 64 and 38. This is actually the one we were just talking about. Geneva Road runs right here east to west, coming up on 355 here and around the Milton area. This would be an area that you would watch to have a little bit higher winds, a little stronger winds potentially in this little pocket right in here. So this is an area that we'll watch really closely here. We'll see with the next radar frame updates. I know we had it back here. There were two of them. There was one right in here and one right in here. And as it's moved off to the east, we've noticed this area has kind of congealed into one spot. So again, the air coming in, air going out, creates a little bit of rotation here. That enhances the possible wind shear, and that gives us, again, at minimum, a little stronger winds than the areas around it. So that's what we're continuing to watch here, up and down this line here. So we can keep walking up, stair step up the line here just a bit, up towards Huntley, and we'll go take a look towards McHenry. Again, I'm not seeing as much now, so I'm starting to see things really, Algonquin, it was really ramping up back here to the southwest, and again, as it gets closer to the lake, the lake water is extremely cold right now, being the end of March, early part of April. Really just is really cold water, and so it's now starting to inhale some of that, and I think we're starting to see a little stabilization with the line, and really for the first time today, conditions not as intense as they were.
One thing I do have a note here, where all this purple is,
Yep.
That's a lot of the radar range folding.
Yeah,
So that can kind of mess up some stuff a bit too.
yeah. So John's talking about this area right up in here.
Yeah, where you guys see all the purple. Just in case questions about that were coming in.
Yep.
I think we got a lot more storm reports to show up here.
Yeah, so the city of Chicago is getting some of these reports. And it kind of checks out because we go 64, 64, 75, and I think we have an 83 back here even. And you notice this area of blue that was bright blue and dark blue now kind of slowly becoming closer to green colors, which tells us that those winds are starting to come down just a little bit. And again, you can see the line, it's getting really thin here. Just doesn't look nearly as healthy as it did about 10 or 15 minutes ago as it moved into Chicago. So again, I think impact's now beginning to wane a little bit. This storm maybe looks a little stronger here down by the airport down near Joliet, or at least near the radar here. Let's switch over to the wind product on that. I don't see anything that really sticks out too much though.
Yeah, or like
a couple little brighter spots up here by DePage and Lockport, but again, not anything like what we had earlier still. So I'm kind of leaning on the idea that this is probably low in severe. Yeah, see, watch the color. Look how everything just kind of. See how we also had really smooth little hooks they were like little smooth swinging hooks. See how those kind of fade away as we get over here. See how the line kind of almost becomes a smoother shape to it. And again, just really weakening. We just had a new wind report come in here for Squaw Grove back here. I think that's a new one, isn't it? Or is that not? Maybe
No,
I
I was
saw
on
that
from before.
Okay. Let's go back down. Let's take one more last look at Memphis. I think that's even really missing most of the the bulk of town to the south, but here it is right here. So if we kind of zoom in here to see exactly where these impacts are, and it's really right where we said it was going to be, kind of paralleling the 269 loop here. Again, did they switch the tornado warning, or is it still just the regular tornado warning?
Tell. Yeah, it's still radar indicated.
Okay. And do we have any CCs?
Just some hail.
Just some hail. So there's could be some bigger hail right up in here. Also probably some gusty winds right up in there as well. But again, your tornado potential right down in here. But it's definitely really stretched out right now. So you can see winds coming around here and everything coming in here. But so until they can merge into one spot, that's when we would actually see this thing, really try to produce a tornado. And right now it's just stretched into this whole area here. So that's why we don't have a tornado right now, is because the circulation hasn't merged into its own little spot. Is there anything else going on, or I think if that's it.
When I look nationally here, we have honestly kind of a downward trend across a lot of the risk area. Like, we had some storms heading towards Nashville, but there's just some thunder showers right now. We have a tornado warning southeast of Cape Girardeau, but that is looking a little weaker. Here, so honestly, it's stuff moving to Chicago, and at this point, it will be impacting a lot of the airports pretty soon, so we'll get official wind readings sooner than later. But, like we've been saying, it's not looking as intense as it previously did. It's moving very fast. I wouldn't be surprised if we have a pretty wide swath of 50 to 60, but maybe not so much the crazy wind from before.
Right.
Otherwise, I mean, it seems like the sun going down really started to take the wind out of this thing.
Yeah, they love that 80-degree temperature. So, so as the sun sets, we lose a little bit of instability. Now, we still have a lot of wind shear out there, and a lot of times that's all it takes. That will offset everything that we need. It's definitely probably some good hail right there.
Yeah, quite a bit of hail up in here.
Probably getting some decent golf balls. Is that a high volume? Switch over to our
I'm zooming in on
KDP here.
Eh.
Yeah, so we'd see all gray in there. That would mean it's more hail. So probably not huge volumes of hail, but definitely probably some golf ball size hail falling there, just to the north there on 269, just north of 302. Some bigger hail there. And the update looks a little better again with that. So, so we'll continue to track this live. Yeah, look at that. Looks very nice. So probably some pretty gusty winds with this as well. So could be some wind-driven hail in there, and it'll be worth tracking. Jumping back up here to Chicago area, it looks like.
Yeah, give it a second.
We got a lot of stuff loaded in right now. Trying to track everything around the whole country, and again, you can just tell the line looks even weaker than it did the last time we were up here. So. Really just a downward trend with this. So I would say with that, again, we'll continue to track and continue to cover what's going on here locally. And if anything looks like it's intensifying up, if anything's breaking out even more, we'll jump in. We'll probably try to get Milwaukee's radar in. This comma head area may move into the Milwaukee area. If that's the case, we'll kick back on live and we'll track that as well. So we'll get this all loaded in and have that ready to go just in case Milwaukee becomes our next impactful city that we have to track severe weather with. So for that, we're going to go ahead and end things off here at 8:22 p.m. on March 31st. And again, as these storms move into the Milwaukee area, we'll continue to track those, and we'll be back live if they continue to produce tornadoes in this part of the country.